Hello dear ones, it's Marie with you again. Today is May 4th, 2022, and I'm gonna talk to you about surrender. Surrender to the will of God for you. First, just remember that I have videos in English, Portuguese, and Spanish, and the playlist, the link for the playlist of all my videos in English is in the description of this video. And just a little reminder, we were created by God like Himself. We are a beautiful thought in the mind of God. We are part of God's consciousness. When we incarnate in the body, only a little portion of that consciousness comes to the body, and the remain stays with God and has the knowledge of everything. Knows everything that God knows what's your purpose in this incarnation, and it's always trying to guide you to the best next steps towards your mission, towards your purpose. Who does that? We call higher self. How he does that? Through your internal guidance systems, through your emotions and feelings. And the tool is the intuition. When you listen to your intuition, actually you're listening to spirit, you're listening to God, you're listening to your higher self. So when should we surrender for the will of God for us? We have been trained to use our intellect, to make use only of material things. If we cannot logically see a solution for a problem, we assume that does not exist. So when you're supposed to surrender to the will of God, I can give you two examples that happened to my life, that looking back, that's exactly what happened. One was, I was in college. It was a private, I supposed to pay, and I was behind in payments, and I was in a very complicated situation, and I just tried everything. Things blew out of proportion, and I just tried everything that I could think of. Everything that my pure intellect could think of, I had tried. And then there was a realization that, okay, I tried everything I knew. So whatever is about to happen is in your hands, God. You decide what will happen. I surrender. And when I surrender, I accept the outcome that God had prepared. I was ready to give up on the college and go back to work and pay my debt first, and then get more finances to return later. But that was not the will of God for me. The will of God for me was a way better than I could see with my reasonable mind, with my ego mind. And when you say you surrender to the will of God, they get more power to really help you. When you are in your ego mind, when you are in control, you think you are in control of everything that you are doing, they have limitations because they need to respect your free will. When you surrender, when you say, okay, I surrender, and whatever outcomes I will accept because I know that will be the best for me. And then they have all the power. And how things really work on the physics, on our reality. You think that the material, the spiritual comes from the material, but it's the opposite. everything borns from a thought, from feelings and emotions. So when I surrender, they from the other side, my guide, my higher self, all the team, they started moving things around. And then they put me in, they guide me to talk to the principal of the school. And I talked to him, and I knew I was guided to talk to him, because I haven't really planned the words I would say to him. I knew more or less what I would just tell the truth, tell the story. But the way things come out from my mouth, after I left the room, I felt like an angel was whispering in my ears and let the words go, the emotions go. And then when I left the room, he just said, when I was telling the story, he was just saying, yeah, that's very complicated. Yeah, that's very complicated. Oh, I only need this for you. I can't really do that way. That's very complicated. But I will do the best. I will do everything I can to help you. That's what he said. I will do everything I can to help you. Come back here tomorrow. And then he did the miracle. The miracle happened. Everything that I had tried throughout the whole year to get up to date with my payments that I thought hadn't worked, everything was used to get to the outcome. So sometimes you think that you fail in things. It's not a fail. It's just another step on the ladder. And everything that you do with good intention, it's always used for your own good. Well, the ones that you do with bad intention also, it's always also become as experience. It probably will bring you some bad things back, but it's always an experience. So that's one example of surrender. And then surrender for the will of God for you. And then they'll say, but Maria, does God create a will just for me? Or should I surrender to a generic will of God to everybody? No. You are that important. You are that important. Yes. God has a specific will just for you. Just for this incarnation that you are in. And that will was planned even before you came here. And he's always trying to guide you through your higher self. He's always tries to guide you. And the way the guidance happens is through intuition. Through intuition is the easiest way. It's like one-to-one communication. But if your mind is too busy with mundane things, with lower vibrational thoughts, the intuition that comes from your higher self is vibrating here. You're having a thought of anger. In the way that intuition happens is you get a thought in your head, it comes with your own voice, you think it's your thought. You won't be able to hear a thought based in love when you are in the middle of an anger argument in your own head. That love thought will go away, far away from your head. You're not going to be able to perceive that thought. So yes, you have a will of God for you, just for you. And you say, Maria, okay, but I constantly thinking in things that's low vibration, but did I deserve the help of God? How God will help me? I pray, but then after I pray, I immediately go back to the same thing. Later on, I'm gonna make a video about prayer and prayer's answers. So your higher self, God, spirits, everybody that's on the other side helping us, they are gonna use whatever they can to help you. They're trying your intuition, the door is closed. They will use a friend, they will use a stranger to give you a message. If that's still not available, they're gonna use a sign on the street. The possibilities are many. They even make you sometimes fall. You fall, you're walking, you fall, and then you stop. Because you stop that automatic, that robot way of life, that automatic way of life, you will stop and then, oh, okay, what am I really thinking about? Oh, so that's how they help you with your intuition. So another interesting thing that I call that was another great miracle that happened in my life was I was here in US dating my husband, and after 1 year I decided to go back to Brazil for reasons, that personal reasons. And but every time that I would think about leaving, about going back to Brazil and leave him behind, I would just feel a great pain. I wasn't really ready for that. My mind was not really ready for that. That's not what I wanted. So I would feel lots of pain. And then get to a situation that was really time for me to go. I have no way to support myself here anymore. So I needed to go. And I believe that everybody, you should allow everybody to make their own decisions. Especially a decision like that. I would never even insinuate him to, oh, you need to marry me so you can stay here. No. Because he knew I love him. That's all he needed to know, if that was what he wanted to. So I just explained to him, it's time to go. I can no longer support myself here, it's time to go. So, but before that, when I realized it was time to go, and I pray and I ask, please give me guidance. Right now, I don't know what to do. I already tried everything that was in my reach, but I don't know what to do. And whatever decision, whatever would be the thing that I'm supposed to do, I want to feel in peace. That's the prayer that I did, that I remember. And my intuition came and said, okay, go back to Brazil. And then I look at everything and say, yeah, I'm going back to Brazil. That was a great time. And my understanding is I did everything that was in my power for the relationship. So from now on, it's his time to do something. If he's not ready, it's okay. So I decided to go back to Brazil. I canceled my school and I booked my ticket for 1 month. And then because I surrender, and then my guides, everybody on the other side start working on. Because he knew my husband's intention, he knew his heart, he knew that he loved me, and he knew what was on the way that was holding him from doing what he wanted to do. So we went to the airport. He took me to the airport. We got there with 2 hours in advance. All my foreign luggage was overweight. And then I started playing with the luggage, removing things, oh, leave this, leave that, and then after 1 hour and a half, the assistant, the person from the airline just said, "What time's your flight?" It's 2. There was only a half an hour, it was 1 hour and a half. Was 1:30. You just lost your flight. There is no way that we will be able to deliver your luggage, you go through the security and get to the airplane on time. There is no way, international flight, there is no way. And then came a realization. I started to laugh inside because I just thought, they are up to something. I try not to laugh loud, so my husband would really say, "Why she's laughing? She just lost her flight." So it's okay, just go with the flow. I rescheduled for 2 days later. And then he had 2 more days to think about. And I didn't back up from my decision of going back because it was clear in my mind that would only work, our relationship would only work if the decision would come from him without me persuade him. So that's what I did. I let him free. I'm ready to go anytime. And the most interesting thing is throughout that whole month, all the time, I feel in peace. I was ready to go. I don't know what would happen after I would get there, but I was in peace. I don't know from where that peace came from. Actually, I know it came from spirits, came from God, from my higher self. And then he took me again to the airport. We got all the foreign luggage that I had checked the weights many times. They were all okay. And then he put all in a cart. When he was crossing the street, 3 of the luggage fell. I picked up 1, and he started collecting the other 2 and put in the cart. After he did the 2, and then he stopped. And the cars start buzzing in. And then and then I said to him, "Come on, let's go, or if you make me lose my flight, you're gonna have to marry me." I said as a joke. And then he just crossed the street, and then he looked at me and said, "Okay, I do. Let's go get married." And I just thought, that wasn't exactly the way I was expecting. It looks like I'm the one asking. But I just thought, that's good enough. Let's go get married. So I wasn't really expecting, even though I wanted. I was ready for any outcome. But because I surrendered, they on the other side, they were able to do the work because they had my agreement to do it. They were not going against the free will law. The free will law is an universal law. All beings that drop from source, they drop with a free will. They have the free will to do what they want. So that's the video for today. Listen to your intuition. After you think you exhausted all that you can, everything, you have no more ideas, and you feel like surrender to the will of God for you, expect miracles. Because miracles does happen. I had many miracles in my life, but those 2, I think there was the ones that I really couldn't deny that they were a miracle. If anybody in their rational or ego mind, they would never come up with a plan to make things happen the way that happened. They'll never. But God knows everything. So, and his resources are unlimited. So, surrender to God when you feel is the right thing to do. Of course, you could live your life surrendered to God all the time, but you still need to do your part too. But we as a human, you like to do things. We like to think that we are the one making all the decisions. And we are, even though when we are surrendered to God, we made all the decisions. Some before we come. It's always in our control. But the ego is the one that really wants the control. Much love and light to you, and I love each one of you.